Hi, Alex Newborn here, and it's coming up on Halloween. I felt it was important that I make a very important safety announcement for people out there in the cosplay society about not spray painting guns black. I mean, we all think about it, we all do it, I've done it. But I do want you to know this can have serious repercussions, and I have a little personal anecdote about that. 5 days ago, I shot a video and I was talking about this white and orange gun here that I felt had potential for cosplay, and to make it more movie accurate, I listed some things that I was going to do to it. There were some glitches in the video. I had to re-edit it, I had to re-upload it. So I looked at it a couple of times, and it was probably the 5th or 6th viewing of it before it dawned on me, you know, there's a real personal anecdote that I need to tell there. I come from the 70s. Our guns were black. You know, we walked outside holding up what looked to police officers like British Sterling repeaters, and we played in the neighborhood with them, and we thought nothing of it. Then, unfortunately, things happened in the real world, and if you've ever seen the movie Die Hard, there's a speech one character has about this, where police officers mistook toy guns for real guns. And so laws were enacted that would protect people about this. Matter of fact, on the card for this very toy that I held up the other day, there's a great warning here. I'll read you the first couple of sentences. It says, "This product may be mistaken for an actual firearm by law enforcement officers and others. Altering any state or federal required markings or coloration in order to make the product appear more realistic is dangerous and may be a crime." And it goes on to talk about criminal penalties and what happens to you if you use a toy gun in a robbery. So this is a very serious thing. And yes, I have broken the law before. This used to be white and I spray painted it black. So I cannot, in good faith, in good conscience, advise people to do this. If you're going to do it, exercise caution. I have always told my sons, hey, don't take that one outside. That's mine from the 70s. A cop will shoot you. Take that white one outside, or take that blue one or that orange one outside if you're going to play. If I'm over at my mom's house and my great nephew has some guns, I'll be like, hey guys, go in the backyard where you got a privacy fence blocking you from view. Do not take those out in the front yard. So as a parent, I don't want anybody watching my videos to do this sort of thing. But as a cosplayer, yes, understand that you are taking your life into your hands when you do it. And here's what happened to me, or very nearly did. The year was 2004. I was directing a play called Mr. Roberts, which is set in the waning days of World War II, at the Zodiac Theater downtown, which is a converted Firestone garage and has other buildings in there, other businesses in there. You've got a florist shop. There used to be a haircut salon. There used to be a comic book shop when I was in college that I enjoyed going to. And so after the play was over, after the season was over, my set was still up, and it occurred to us, as it always does, hey, let's go in there and film some of the scenes and make a little, tribute video, memorial video of what we did, which is also illegal. You shouldn't do that either. So we were doing that, and we were striking the set. And to get rid of our set pieces, we have to leave the theater, go around the front of the building, go up a staircase and into the second floor. So we had done a couple of that, and it occurred to us that we didn't have one of the props for the scene that we wanted to shoot. A guy in the show had had a replica gun from the era and a holster, which we used in one scene. We kind of invented a scene to make use of this great prop. And it was a solid casting. It had no moving parts. The trigger would not depress. It was the safest thing in the world, but it looked fantastic. And so, trying to figure out what we could use instead, my friend John and I walked across the street, and we're looking at different stores that sell, toys and things. And I saw some water pistols at Fred's that I didn't think looked right. And we wandered on past a real gun shop, Sonny's Pawn, and John made the remark, hey, we could go in here and borrow a real gun for the day. And I said, somewhat ironically, John, I have no desire to have a real gun pointed at my face today, because in the scene, my character was the one that had this thing aimed at him. So we go on, we finally decided to go back to Fred's and get those water pistols and a can of black spray paint. I go to the theater, I give it a coat of paint on one side, I wait for it to dry. I give it a coat of paint on the other side, I wait for it to dry. So it's dry enough now, I bring it inside the theater. I'm telling you this story from my point of view, and then I'll tell it to you again from everybody else's point of view. So we are getting ready to shoot the scene, what have you, and I hear voices outside the back door of the theater. So I throw the door open, and there's 2 police officers standing there. And one of them, at my surprise appearance, understandably, when you hear the full story, pulls his gun and has it aimed at my face. I'm looking down the barrel of a police gun. And I just froze. I said, "Can I help you, officers?" And then I found out the full story from everybody else's point of view. Here's what had happened. As we took those set pieces upstairs, the people in the florist shop were brand new to the building. They didn't know that was a theater. They didn't know anything about the building. So they kept hearing these noises of stuff clunking up a flight of stairs and being set very heavily down into the storage area. So they go outside to investigate, and they come across, guess what? A gun, a black gun laying there next to a can of spray paint. They were alarmed. They did the responsible, cautious thing. They called the police. When the police arrived, the gun is not there anymore, but the spray paint can is. So they assume somebody is huffing paint and is inside the building armed. And that's when I opened that door, and that's when a gun got drawn at me, and that's when I was a single-digit flex away from having my head blown off, because I spray painted a gun because I broke the law. That's an absolutely true story, and it's terrifying in hindsight. So please, if you plan to do something like turn one of these into one of these, bear in mind that all the Star Wars guns were based on real firearms, and you can get your head blown off for that. So please be careful. Have a great Halloween.